have new EP tellers that just got their card here?
Yes.
Oh, Jehovah. Let one of the new EP tellers that just got their card too to come. And you have your card here. No. You have your card here. You're new. Have you logged onto the website? You don't have a password. Okay, I need someone that does not have a password and is new. You don't have a password. Sir, you have your card. I want somebody that has this card. Sorry, sir. Please come. You have card. You don't have password. This one came before you. Okay, now we're going to go through this section now. Now, this one, we want to say, for those of us who are coming into the platform for the very first time, you don't have a password, you just got your card yesterday. Okay, yes, sir. Sir? Yesterday? Yes. Oh, I'm in the spirit. So, you just got your card yesterday and you've not logged on. So this man is going to log in for the very first time. Look, this is the simple procedure to get your password. Log in for the very first time. This is it. Now we go.
Action.
Please come here, sir. Sit down. Bring out your card. Yes. We are using this URL address www.lesg.lesg-ebs-rcm.com because we are using a modem. We are connecting directly with a modem straight into the internet. But if you are logging in from your back, your branches, the IP address is 192.168.2.25. Okay, so once we open the website address, once we put the URL address on the Explorer, you get the home page. This is where we call the home page for the EBS RCM, Lagos State EBS RCM website, Electronic Banking System of Revenue Cycle Management. Now, before he logs in, there's some very vital information you need to get to know here. Now, notice here, notice against fraud, validate your receipts. Receipt can be validated from here. Once you click on that link, it will take you to the steps how you can validate a receipt to know if this receipt is genuine. It is special, like we're saying, like you said, your receipt has no name but property owner. Now, your receipt without name but property owner might be a fake receipt. I'm not saying it is fake. Click on login. Okay, now come here. Your payer ID. Now, the payer ID is on your card. Thank God for some of us who can come very well. The payer ID on the card starts with an N, iPhone, the accepted numbers. But the first thing, the only thing you put in that form is just the number. Put the number as the payer ID. The next column is a password. You need to choose a password for yourself. Okay, you are too close to him when you steal his ATM card. So enter your password, just password known by you alone and that you can always remember. Whatever, alphanumeric, anything you want to use. But it should not be less than 6, but it can be more than 6. Is that up to 6? Alright. Now the next one says your email address. Enter your email address. Please, and note one thing, please, your password should not contain G-O. G and a O. G and a O. Well, there are codes, there are system codes. So the system will see it as a code. Please, G-O. Don't use G-O. General overseer. Hold it there. Okay, put your phone number. Alright. Then what you do now is, we have 3 buttons below. Can we see very well from there? Can we all see? Yeah. Please, I want us to go after me. This is what? This is what? This is what? This is not for yourself. Alright. He's logging for the very first time, so he's going to shoot what? How many user? Oh, good class. Now, it takes him to the next form where he's asking him to repeat his password and enter a phone number. Please repeat that password again and put in your phone number. Yes, click on OK, sir. Hello. You see, this system can catch people that are lying. This brother has just lied that he does not have a password and he has a password. Listen, somebody read what you can see there. Instead of saying, this guy is trying to tell him that this guy has already gotten a security code. And somebody with a security code has what? A password. Brother, you have forgotten your password. Okay? He wants to say something. The wrong way. Doing what you know how to do. He's doing what he knows how to do. Okay? Even though it might be working for him, get it. What he's going to do now will work. But it's not the best. Do we understand? Now, I said security code allows you to change your password. So this brother is changing his password at every day when he is logging into the system to search for a payer. Changing the same password. Do you understand? Changing the same password. So you don't need the security code here now. Please remember it. Even the phone number, you don't need it now. Good. So these are the criteria you need to log in once you are an existing user. Do we understand now? Once you are an existing user, these are just information you need to log in. So you can click on login, sir. Confirm your password, sir. So, here we have logged on to the bank menu. We have logged on to the bank main menu. So on this menu, these are all the things you can do as a teller. But let's just restrict ourselves to where we are going now. Now, in case after the training, if you need the training guide, I'll show you where you can get the videos of this training that we are doing now. You can pick the video, it will help us watch and we'll continue to practice then. If you don't have time to watch the videos in the office and you want to do a transaction, you need a guide, you can always click on download operational manual too to help you guide you through your posting. So those are mediums where you can even train yourself, train your trainer on yourself. Okay, now a customer has walked in, like we said, and he wants to do a transaction. I have filled the form, I've done everything. Note, the banks cannot create PID. You can only make a request for PID. Do we understand? Because we give the privilege for PID to be created by banks before, but oh my. They did justice to the database. So now we have to restrict them from that. So now, click on search stroke PID. Search stroke create PID, because what we want to do now is do a search for the customer if he is existing. Now the customer is either an individual or company. I think I heard somebody was trying to ask a question there using an individual name as company. Please, if you are using Mr. and Mrs. Ojo Ola. That represents what? It's a company, it's not more an individual name. Because two people are collabo here. Is that not collabo?
Yes, so.
So if you remove co and you put co, it is concus as collabos. You know? So there's a collabo there, there's a collaboration that two people are coming together to transact a business. So that means it's a company. So if you send a format like that as an individual, making that request as an individual, please, they will not create it. They won't create it. So you have to go back and make that request as a company, please. So we're searching for an individual now. Click on I, individual. Yes, sir. Enter in the now. This is where I was telling my brother the other time. Title is supposed to be what? Mr. Mrs. Chief, Doctor, Reverend, Oluwo, Alaji, Alaja. So put the title, Mr. Surname, let's use that man's information. Surname comes first. Then here, under the full name, oh, God bless you, my brothers. Some of us make mistakes here. In short, most of us, when you say the full name, we expect the last name. Full name, please include surname as part of the full name. So the surname is supposed to come last. Do you understand? Surname is supposed to come last. After the first name. Yeah, as in after every other name. You know we're having three names. First name, middle name, and last name. Do we understand? There are three names. First name, middle name, and last name. So for some of us we have in the full name we come with the last name first before every other name. Please always ensure that the last name comes last. That's why it's called last name, surname. Okay, continue. No, you've not had it. Oh. You see? Bingo. This is what we're saying. You didn't put the surname. No, there's no second name. Sorry, Maggie. You didn't put the middle name. Wait, the system will not wait for you. Go back. No, just add it here. In short, you can put three names. Wait, even with this that he has done, do you understand? Even with this that he has done, he can still do the search. But what the system will give him will be more. Do we understand that? So let's put the full details. I can even see the name from here. In short, this man has to be ID already. Ha. Alright, here we are. Muhyiddin Adeshola Aminu. Muhyiddin Adeshola Aminu. Oh Lord, help us. Now, you will ask me, why is this name created? The information supplied for both names, are they the same? No. Emails are different. Residentials are different. This is where he's living though. He's living inside Itiga. Please, when you're asked to fill form, this card does not belong to GT. Get it now. let me give you this orientation. This card, ETC card, is not meant for GT Bank. You are having it because you are liable to Lagos State taxes. You pay your tax, you get it. If you are leaving the bank, you are going with your card though. Because if you leave your card and Mr. Aminu use your card to commit fraud, no, there's no way you can hide though. They will fish, in short, fishes you out. Anywhere you are. So please, if you're leaving the bank, please write your question now, sir.
No, sorry, just a quick one. Does that mean that if I'm getting a new EPA and he already has an existing ETC card for
yes,
card, he do not need to create another?
No.
So that's
a good question. If he has a card already, now I am leaving EcoBank to GT Bank. I already have a card. My card is not meant for Eco. It is mine. So for the fact that I'm coming to your bank and I have the card with me, I don't need to fill another form to get a new card. All I need to do is write to ABC and tell us to update your profile, that you have left Eco to GT, and we update your profile and your information will be carrying GT Bank. That's all. Do we get that? That's all. Please, so you don't have to fill 2 forms or get 2 cards for the sake of change of organization. All right. So we assume now we have found the name. We'll pick the payer ID. But right here, let's assume we didn't get the name. Are we there? We didn't get the name and we want to make a request. Please go to the bottom of the screen. What do we have here? If not found, click here to fill payer ID request form. Are you click on that, sir? Once you get to the main bank menu, go to payer ID request confirm. Yes, click on that arrow key. Now, these are various ways you can check to search your PID. There's all. If you click on all, it will give you all the PID requests you have sent. Are you with me? Now from there you can now pick your PID there. Now if the PID is not created, there's a column there and is a comment that tells you why the PID was not created. They won't leave that column blank. If it's not created, they will tell you why that the PID was not created. I'm sure some of us have done that. Now, that will now tell us that we should go and get the right information and repost that. Now, if you search, you can also search by the customer's name. Do you understand? You can also search by request dates. Whichever way to streamline your search, you can do that. Now, some of us don't search thoroughly. We don't search well. So the next thing you say is, I have sent the request for 30 minutes and the PID has never been created, blah, 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 blah. Please, the PID will have been created in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I will give you my details, my phone number, my everything. If you send the PID request in 5 minutes and you don't get it, forward it to me. Forward the details to me. Tell me it has not been created. I will search for you and send it to you, and you will pay me for searching. So please search very well and you get it. If you can't get it in 5 minutes, like I said, if you don't get it in 5 minutes, please forward a mail to our help desk number, copying me. Send a mail to the help desk number, copy me, so that I can fill it up. I won't be the one to create the PID for you, but I can always follow it up to know that the PID is being created. Do you understand that? Please send a mail almost immediately after 5 minutes you don't get it. Copy me, the mail, send it to the up desk. Now we have worked successfully gotten a PID. Now we want to post the transaction. Now, this whole process can be minimized. Can I tell you how? This whole process can be minimized. Some of us are used to our customers, aren't we? Some of us are familiar with their customers. If we can always sensitize our customers to come with their old receipts or their ETC card, we won't even come here. Do we get it? Why are we coming here?
To get PID.
To get what?
PID.
But if we have our old customer's receipt and his ETC card, do we need to go there again?
No.
Because we already have the PID on the receipt and on the card. Please, let's help our customers too. And you can also use this medium to help a customer who does not have the card before get a card. There's what we call a self-assessment form that is in all branches. No. I heard someone say no. If you don't have it in your branch, please get in touch with Nick for that. You should have it in your branch. When a customer pays in your bank, ask, okay, you get this card. You are wasting time. I can always get it for you free of charge. Because these people go outside to get paid for it. For this guy, sir. Order. This is it. You can now scroll down now. Display. Okay. Before I go used to this table mouse myself, because as if I was running a race, the mouse would just run away. So don't mind some of us that are not used to. Now, on the land use charge form, there's what we call the bank payment code. Bank payment code. Does anybody have any land use charge transaction here? Sorry, can't come. Oh, please let us clap for this auntie. Oh my gosh, she's always ready, always prepared. That means she wants to post transaction today. Oh, this is for you, man. Are you an existing payer? I'm asking. Okay. So enter this bank payment code. You are not there. Oh, you are there. Click on show. So what do we have here? This is our last transaction that she committed. It's not a fraud. This is our last transaction that she transacted with Lagos State on land use charge. And here we have our payer ID. Do we see here? So with this, you don't need to start going to search and create PID. So just pick the PID from there. Do we get it now? Yeah. In short, this helps our land use charge. Please can you clap for me? I can see people smiling. I've made people smile this morning. Alright, so this helps us to get our PID. Like I said, existing payer. Existing payer. So if it's new, you won't get it there. So if you put the bank payment code and you don't find it, that means the person is just a new payer. He just built it out. Congratulations on him. So the next thing you do, you have to go and do a search and prepare for such a person. Now, please drop this menu. Drop this form. Now, first thing again, your ETC card. If you don't synchronize your ETC card in a space of 10 days, it will lock you up, so you won't be able to go in until when you do what? Synchronize your card. And what you need to do to synchronize, all you need to just click sync to DB. If it's overdue, when you try to log in, it's going to give you a message to tell you that your card has not yet been synchronized. So let's go on. Close this form to continue. Enter your password. Select your location. Save, okay. Hold on. Has anybody come across this message before? Yes. I like that. I expect yes. If you have this message, please contact your technology immediately. Any transaction you post with this message will not eat your till. Do you get me now? If this message comes up, that means all transactions you post will not eat your till. Okay? So please, note that. Click on OK, sir. Are you writing this? Why? Okay, hold on. Why?
You don't have to.
Why? There's what we call integration. The integration process is you post and it hits your banking application. Do you understand? So that you don't have to do a double posting manually. It will be done automatically. So if that message comes up, that means there's a file on that system that's supposed to be on that system that is not there. Are you with me? That means there's a file that's supposed to be on that system that is not there. So if it's not there, or if you get that message, please contact your technology immediately. They know what to do. Please, they're here, they're listening to me. They can confirm for me.
A file that we just copy and put inside the card data file.
So that tells you he knows about this. Okay?
Is this something you can do from the web copy?
Well,
It can be done remotely actually.
Because of privileges or whatever, that's an in-house thing. So you talk to your technology on getting that result. Alright? So, he has logged in successfully to eBay. Now we want to post a transaction. Remove your login card and put your bank card. Now, are we all aware that we can post transactions without a TIN card now? All transactions. All transactions without a TIN card. So, post transaction. This guy good. This close this form. I know that. Come back here. Close this thing, you do something. Thank you. Go back. I brought that. Please hold on. You see what? Please, I want you to get this. You see why sometimes we get messages and the next thing we say is the system is giving a problem. The system is not working. The system. It's not the mouse. If you say the mouse, it's the mouse controlling you. It's not using the mouse, it's the mouse, it's all controlling the mouse. So please, if we do the right thing, we get the right result. Okay? So click on file, sir. Post transaction. Click on file, sir. Post transaction. Post transaction. He's looking at the projector. And the monitor of the laptop is. Okay. Now, this is the information you get when you on post transaction. It's actually if you want to post a transaction for a remote payer. Okay, so you click on yes. Good. Right here on the choose payer type, click on that, sir. Individual. Now put the payer ID of that brother, your colleague, sir. Now verify. Enter your password. Click on OK. OK. I will click on OK. Confirm your password, sir. Yes. Please. That message comes up some of the times and we call APC. Wait. Unable to validate your login. Please register as a new user. He is entering a wrong password. So the system will always refer him to register as a new user. Do we understand? He's entering a wrong password. So at this point, some of us will say, no, why? Please be very careful when you're entering your password. Go back again, sir. Wait, slow motion. Can you see we're closing it right now? Do you see it's not a system problem now? Thank you very much. Now, I want to start picking my point from this end. I don't see any reason why we will post a transaction to a wrong thing. Do you agree with me? Please, do you agree with me? Good. Why? Because the system is already giving us the name of the payer. So from this point, you can tell me if this is the payer you are supposed to pay for or not. Now, at the point of entering the payer ID, it is possible we have 0. It is possible you're typing and your hand mistakenly touch on one of the keys, maybe number 1, and you know that 1 is already on the keyboard, and you verify. Some of you are very good, of course, I guess if you try offline, you don't take your time to read this, and you click on yes. If you click on yes, anyway, the Lord can still help you along the way. Do we understand that? So, verify first before you say yes. That's why the button says verify. Now click on yes. Next place it takes us to is a post-transaction form. Now, there are 2 major transactions I want to call your attention to now, which is the land use charge and water corporation. Those 2 transactions always come with bill reference number and a bank payment code. Now, under the assessment ref, you will enter, if it's a water corporation transaction, you will enter the property reference number as the trans ref. And please note, on water corporation, the 3rd letter is always an alphabet. The 3rd letter is always an alphabet. So it's possible you see 1 and you think is I. It's possible you see 0 and you think is O. I'm asking some of us now, what's my phone number? 082. My phone number is 082. My phone number is 080. As in where you are paying to. The person who is collecting the transaction you are paying for is an agency. I have a supermarket and I have different sections in my supermarket. Now because the supermarket now is what? The agency. Do we understand now? The supermarket is the agency. But the various items in the supermarket are the what? Revenues. Do we understand now? So, I am paying, let's use a line discharge transaction for example now. I'm posting a line discharge transaction. Okay? And I am paying, but what the line discharge transaction is, the code is 4. Okay, that's it. Alright. Pick your card piece up. What's the revenue code for line discharge? Okay. Now look at it there. Good. Press on your tab key. Once, okay. Hold on, let me come here. Now, for those of us, this takes us to the question we asked earlier about addresses on receipts and all of that. This is where we fill in the property information. And this is where the secondary address comes out to the receipts. So, on your form, okay? So, it is very easy, simple and fast now. Now, coming back to this point, are you with me? Are you with me? Coming back to this point, you should read carefully. You should read carefully. If you find out that there's something wrong with what you are about to post here, are you with me? If there's something wrong in what you're about to post there, you say, no, wait. My brother, click on no wait. No way to, let me, they're saying, no wait, that means the transaction has not yet been posted. So we can now go back and do the correction that we want to do. But if all things is good, well and good, you say yes post and your receipt will be generated. Your receipt will be what? Generated. Now, somebody should ask, I post and I get a temporary receipt. That means at that point you're posting, there was a break in your network, probably there was a timeout, you will get an automated receipt then, it's a temporary receipt you get. But when you later go back to synchronize your card, you can now get the automated receipts. Now, I want to lay emphasis on something. That takes us to the question that my brother asked me earlier about my bank card, my 10 card cannot be empty. Not synchronizing your card is a very serious offense. Know it now, if you don't know before. Please. Failure to synchronize your cards is a very serious offense. 2 offenses. 1, assumption for fraud. Are you getting me? There's an assumption for fraud. That means because you know if there's no network, or because you know you can issue a temporary receipt to a customer to come back and collect his receipt later, you tamper with your network. You post the transaction and you get the temporary receipt. Because once the network is down, what you get is a temporary receipt. Isn't it? The customer goes away with the receipt. And you understand that when you synchronize that card, the transaction will not get to the system. So you decide to keep the card. Probably you use that particular card for such transaction. So when you want to do such transaction, you use that card. The point is, you cannot keep that card forever. It takes just 5 days for you to keep that card. Just 5 days. You keep that card 5 days, you won't synchronize that card, and you will run GT Bank down. I am not saying the branch now. What did I say? GT Bank, because the card is not for the branch, it's for the bank. And that goes to the area where other banks will not be able to empty their cards. And if other branches cannot empty their card, they are having issues posting customers' transaction. It can be traced to the bank. It can be traced to the branch that is not posted. So once they log in, even you, I'll show it to you here. Please open the website, sir. Just go on. Yes, sir. Yes. It's a good question. The assessment ref is on the land use form. By the time you fill in the property information on that secondary address, the property PIN will automatically go into the assessment column as the assessment ref for land use charge, which is very, very important. So you will always find it on the form as bank payment code. That's the title, bank payment code. Now, I'm trying to show us something here now. In short, right there. Some of you should start covering your faces, because you will see branches right here now that have their cards not synchronized. We want to see it. Yes. Even if you say no, yes, you will see it. Okay? You see what I'm saying? When you do the right thing, you get the right result. No. That payment code, put it. That's it. Okay. Display. Okay, non card. Yes. Thank you. Scroll this way. First, wait. Look at the numbers of days that the cards have been kept. 12, 13, 11, 48 days. Wait. See all these 00 days you're seeing? That means their own days will start counting from tomorrow. Tomorrow. Of course I know tomorrow. Tomorrow, it starts counting from tomorrow. Okay? Now, where is the branch? Mushi. Where is the Mushi branch? Mushi is having 2 hours. Mushi branch. Then, Ojoju. Ijeoro. So that means, and Festa. And this place. Then, in short, Festa, Ijeoro is having 2 cards. That means how come? Okay, Ijeoro is having 0 days. That means they are not very active. But they are synchronizing their cards. They are synchronizing their cards like this. But we have Ojoju. Ojoju. Identify yourself, bro. Ikorodu, Mushi. In short, Mushi is the most offensive branch here. We have 1 card that has not been synchronized. Alright. In short, with this alone, I know by Monday, if they bring a card to me for empty, I won't be able to empty it. Yes, ma'am. Which one? 2A. It's no more in Oloju.
Where is it? Cost 5K for us to make that card. It will not be missing.
Okay. Let me explain this very, very well. if your bank card is missing, you are paying 5K.
You pay 5K, and that is bad.
Are you with me? You're paying 5K, police report, affidavit. Sure, do you know we are helping you by saying police report and affidavit? How? Should I help you? No. Should I help you? Now, I am not going to make a report already that my card is missing. Do you know someone else in your branch, in GT Bank, can pick that card anywhere and commit fraud with it? Are you with me? Because he knows that the only way he can make that card active, if you have not yet reported it missing, he's just synchronizing that card. He will clear the unused day and he will use it for fraud. And once such card is used, and praise God, or maybe it's even your colleague, he has access to your card. Maybe it was even your colleague that kept the card. And he picks up your own details one day at your absence. Of course, he has his own card too, but in absence, he picks your card and logs in, he commits fraud on your card. And of course, you've been saying you can't find this card for a very long time. So, if anything is going to happen, who will they catch? It's you. But if you reported that the card is missing, you've done the police report, you've done your affidavit and all of that, then you are safe. You are safe. So you pay 5,000 naira, you do your police report and your affidavit, and you write to us that you want this card to be suspended. So we will now suspend the card. Even if somebody picks it from anywhere, the card can never be active. Do you understand? So please, ensure you... Yes? I'm talking about the bank card now. Yes, the bank card itself. But the term card is 2005. Then for your own login card, that's its card, is 2005. To get a replacement. So that's just it. Please always ensure you synchronize your... Yes, madam? Well, this is under the discretion of your public sector. If they want to withdraw your 10 cards from you or not, they should decide that. Now, this is your 10 card status. Oh, see? And you can imagine, there's just one person. One. Where is that man that said he cannot empty his 10 card? Just one person. One person disturbing the whole bank from emptying a 10 card. Amen. Where is Allen Allen again? There's a 10 card issued to GT Bank and it's carrying for 3 days. Imagine how long can somebody have a card? 93, 93, 93. Oh my God. Does it mean in 93 days you don't have one transaction? I mean, this is not good enough. I'll be very honest with you. And all are under Allen. Just one is from Bode Thomas. Every other thing is Allen, Bode Thomas, and Akande Shola here again. Why is Akande Shola always be in the same head office for that matter? It's a nice of this. This shouldn't happen. I guess after today, by the time I get to the office on Monday, by 10 p.m. Sorry. By 10 a.m., when I look into the system, I want to see nothing here. Nothing. I want to see nothing here. Do you know this is part of the appraisal? All this information goes to the state government every month. A letter has just gone out yesterday, that means this will be there. I am telling you the truth. A letter has just gone out yesterday, just yesterday. And this information will be in the letter. Now, how do you expect the state government to see 93 days cards kept with you? And they won't think you are keeping money. It's true. You are hiding their money. That's what it means. Under this platform, it's an offense. It's an offense. Please ensure you synchronize all your cards, bank card, temp cards. If I were you, let me give you my own procedure. First thing on Monday morning, I synchronize. Last thing on Friday, I synchronize. I might not cover the 5 days. I just said me. That's if there's no transaction at all. But there's a transaction, would there be any reason for me not to synchronize? Because the card will keep being active. It will keep being active. And once you are using the card, that means the card is synchronized. It's good to synchronize every day. Please, transaction or no transaction, synchronize your cards every day. It will take you nothing to do that. You can just put the card in, click on sync today, continue your work. 30 seconds, the card is finished. Under 30 seconds, you have finished synchronizing. Simple. It does not disturb your other bank. Every payment is one phase. And what? And it's online. As well, download the software. Can customer pay what? Online? Okay? Are we expecting that in the future? All right. Yes. In short, that is already in place for customers to be able to pay online. Are you with me? But it has not yet been launched. So, by the time it's launched, you reduce the influx of customers coming into the bank. Do we understand? So the online posting is already in place but not yet launched. So that answers the question, right? Yes, madam. Okay, she's saying if we just cite an example of posting water bill or any other bill. Do we go through that process?
No, let us go to
But we have people that say yes. Okay, just open that platform while I answer the other question.
We will post all the bills here. Refer to Nick, please, Alausa. See the trainer, we can't be here taking the bills. We have like 8 bills, we do one here, we do second one. That's all you do the third one.
How do you do that? Like this means of land,
Okay. That's a very good question. Now, every agency has its own revenue. Like road taxes now, Federal Ministry of Road Transport. Now, Federal Ministry of Transport, they have revenues they collect, like vehicle license, driver's license, this particulars, that particulars. No, last one is not guidance. Last one is a different, that's an offense, whatever. You can collect it, the last one fine is being paid. See, you know what I'll advise you to do here? I think, confirm from your public sectors kind of transactions you can collect. Do you understand? Because I might not know all the transactions that you are liable to collect.
My name is Victor Offset, Marina Branch. Okay. When the customer comes to make a payment and it's e-better and cannot access the website, might be frustrating at that time. Okay. That's one of the reasons why we have to tell customers, please could you check back. Now I want to find out, do you have an option, like maybe another website, two alternative websites, maybe like the server on that website is down at that time. Do you have an alternative server that can take up the slack where the main one goes down? Or what can we really do when that happens?
Alright, that's a question, good question. Now, obviously you can have 2 websites. Do we all agree with that? We can have 2 websites to host It's same transaction.
I'm not talking about two websites.
Yes.
I mean, if it's a small website, you can have many servers.
Yeah.
One server goes down, the other server.
Now this is it. ePay application connecting with ePay has two IP addresses running. We have .192.168.168.2.51. Then we have the second one, 192.168.2.40. Now those are the connection string from eBay to our server. Now for the website, it's just one IP address, which is the 25. Every other numbers 192.168.2.25. Now, it could be possible these three IP addresses might not be running in your branch. Maybe till now, or maybe probably it was running before, after some period, it was not running and it stopped running. Now, there are some things you need to do as a teller yourself before you raise an alarm that you are not working. One, ping those IP addresses. Now, you could be on .40 and after some time, .40 stopped working. Ping .51 to confirm if that is replying. If 51 is replying, you switch your remote text file to 51 to continue working. I'll tell you how to do that. Now, in a case none of the IP addresses are replying, do we all know how to ping here? No. Good. I like this class. So I'm going to tell us how to ping. Very, very easy. Now, in case we ping these IP addresses and they are not replying, that means you should further your investigation to contact your next branch. Call a branch around you. Ask them if there's a connection from their own hand to us. Are you getting me now? Now, we are trying to streamline our investigation to know where the problem is now. If you call the next branch and they give you the same information that they can't connect to, fine. Some of us, I know this could be little more out of your banking, whatever, but some of us will have friends in other banks. If you call a bank which is not your bank now and confirm if there's a network there, then if there is a network in that bank, then there is network everywhere. So that means the search has been streamlined to your own local network. Then at that point, or if you don't want to call the next bank per se, you could call ABC to say, I have called my next branch. I found out that 2 or 3 of my branches are not connecting. So that's why I'm calling you to know if the problem is from the network, our network. So if you call me or you call the help desk and they tell you that our network is good, then you now have to call your technology guys to link into your network. Do we understand now? So because it is possible your branch could be down, the other branch is up, or it's possible your bank network could be down for some few minutes and every other banks are working, or it could be possible why probably we are doing a maintenance for some few minutes and we go down. But we can't go down for more than 2 minutes, max 5. If that's we have to be down. Down is in probably maintenance.
The thing is, when you're doing Monisola, there was a time I sent a request for operation of PID. They did the PID, but by the time I posted it on ePay, I was told that the PID does not exist, and it was ABC that created it.
Okay, let me quickly answer the Martins and the PID note. Now, when you're making your request, there's a column name title, right? And there's also a column name surname, and there's a column name full name. Now, some people put title and surname together. Are you with me? They put title and surname together. And when such is being created, it will just create, it will pick the title, Mr. This, some full name, Martins, Owolabi. So it will come, it will say the Mr. and Martins as a title, Martins Owolabi as full name. Do you understand what I'm saying now? Now, there's a column. There's a column for title. Alright? And there's a column for surname. And there's a column for full name. Under title, you're supposed to have just Mr., Chief, Doctor, title. But you have title as Mr. Martins. So the system says that as one, a title. So once the ID is generated and when your printer is received, you have Mr. Martins title, Martins, the name. Now,
sorry, can you show us?
Yes, you see, we'll go there. We'll go there. Then the second, she said, PID not found. Fine, the PID has been created and you have the PID. That's not an issue, please. Once you have been given a PID and it's saying PID not found, just call the help desk immediately, or you call me to tell me the PID you gave me is saying not found. That means the PID is actually created on the master's server and not on the local MDB. So all we need to do is just move from the masters to the local and you're gone. Do you understand that? Do you understand me? Once you have PID not found, just call immediately and we attend to that. There's a question.
And again, please, before sending to us, search for that PID very well. Because the database is full already, that he has all those names in the database. We notice that some banks want to create, when you are still creating, they will put comma before they creating. So the name is existing. Please search for that PID, because somebody called me from GTB too, that they sent something, they are not replying. Immediately you send, we reply. We have people working 24/7 for this PID issue. And some they will search it there, they will see it there. It's a way of telling customers to go back, and we don't want that. Please search for it. The one we do not see, send it to them. If in a hurry, or the customer is on your neck, call my number, call Aki. Please, we'll attend to you. Okay? And at times they send it 2-3 times. The same name. I mean, please.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Fumi from Maturi Branch. Please, I have a question. Which one is important? Is it the name or the address?
All is important.
Okay. Please, I have a customer. He brought the assessment notice for land use, and while searching on the website, I saw the full name, the 3 names, with the phone number, and I confirmed from the customer that brought it. He said that is the person's phone number. But on processing it on the ePay platform, I discovered that at the point of printing the receipt, the thing carries the whole address of the customer, and it was the new address I used to process the transaction. What do I do?
Okay, for that instance, there's no. Now, I like the land use charge transaction you're talking about now, right? Now, I want you all to get this very, very clear about land use charge transactions. I am Mr. Akim Adekunle Jonathan. I live at Ojoju, Baga. I have a property at Aja, Lekki. I have one at VGC, good places. Thanks. So I have properties at those locations. Now, I've already made a payment of a transaction to Lagos State that is different from land use charge sometime before. And I have a data, my name is already existing on Lagos State database. Now I am going to make a land use charge transaction. Probably I have my payer ID already, I give it to you, or I just fill the deposit slip and you go ahead to search and you find me on the database. Note, that does not mean that you should create a new address for that land use charge. Why? I am still living in Ojo, okay? Those property I am only for land use charge property. By the time I am going to pay post the transaction, a secondary form will come up for me to enter the property address that I'm paying for. There. Do you understand what I'm saying? I am still living there, but I'm paying for a property where I am not living.
It's still valid.
It's valid. It's valid because I am still living where I'm living, but I am only paying for a property where I am not living.
Even when the receipt is not carrying the receipt, the one I'm paying for is still valid.
It will carry two addresses.
One address.
No.
So that last state of Lagos State Polytechnic.
Please, can someone, do you have a witness in the house?
Yes, I have 4 transactions.
Yes, sir.
With 2 addresses. One address.
You have 2 addresses on receipts. The old one and the new one.
I have some receipts like that too, but this particular one carries transportation.
Okay.
I just try to convince the customer that since it's
If you have issues where you posted a if you have issues where you posted a land use charge transaction and only one address is showing, please call me almost immediately. Do you understand it? Because we are expected to have 2 addresses on land use charge transaction: residential address and the property address. Are we clear? Do we get that now? Another question? Alright.
My name is Peter from Yoba Branch. This is the error message I get when I try to log on. The Microsoft Jet database engine cannot open the file C data card, blah blah blah. It is already opened exclusively by another user, or you need permission to view its data.
Already opened by another user. Now, there's an NDB file that is supposed to be existing on your local, in your card data. If it's not there, LASG, if it is not there, then there's no way you can post a transaction. Do we understand? No.
Come again, please.
There's a file, that MDB file, LASG. Inside your card data folder. Just once you have that message, just check if the file is existing in that card data folder. LASG.mdb. That is it. LASG. It has some of us don't have Microsoft Access running on our system, but you will see a file LASG. If it's not running there, please get in touch with us quickly, or you can call your technology.
I think you can download it.
Yeah? Just call your technology guys immediately. They know what to do. Just call them, or you can download it yourself. It's very easy to download. Just go to the website and download the LASG. We'll still get there on how to do our download on the website. So, another question?
So you said for a receipt that has one address that you're supposed to be contacted immediately, what do I do? Because I think I shared this transaction on Tuesday.
Don't worry, just get in touch with us. It's going to be sorted out. Okay? Okay.
I'm Yadu from Ikorodu branch. What I want to ask is there a way we could empty our bank card in the branches? Because in my branch, because of the rate of customer that come to pay for land use, we discovered that even in a week that we sent a card to allow us that, okay, we want this card to be emptied. We discovered that you want us to balance our till by the day, but we don't even have the card to process the customer transactions. So what do we do?
My name is Ebenezer from Ibafo branch. My question relates to the one my sister asked the other time. 2 days ago, I had a challenge. A customer came to pay for land use charge. And when he came, he told me that he has already made payment before. So I tried to search. I didn't see as in the payer ID. Then he now told me that they've extended a building. The first one carries number 10, Mayake Close. Meanwhile, the new building is carrying number 12, Mayake Close. So I sent for creation of payer ID. When they replied me, they replied for only one. Then the other one, he told me that customer's email address is already existing. So there was no way for me to get in touch to explain. I tried calling the numbers of Eptex. None of them responded. But I spoke with Shegun because I had his power. He now told me that he will get in touch with me. So in a case like that, what do we think we can do?
Sorry, okay.
I'll answer 3 questions now.
Grace from Makowa Jaffa. The customer has 3 properties. Can you use one payer for the 3 properties?
Okay.
Different address.
Yes, that will answer this. It's almost the same question.
Sorry, let me just quickly answer the 3 questions so that I don't forget them. The first question is, can we empty our card from our branches? Yes, you can. Bank card. Bank card, you can't empty for your branch, but your admin can empty for you. Do we understand that? Okay. Now, you might not be able to empty, but if you take it to announcer where your admin officer is, she can empty that card for you on that spot. You empty and take it away from her. That's maybe myself and Hannah will talk well on that. Probably she might need to see me on that. But she can empty your card for you. Send it to her, wait to collect it, at that spot you'll get your card. Instead of sending the cards down to us. The only reason why you might have to send the card down to us if while emptying, if there's an issue, then that means that's not beyond her. Then she has to send it down to our office. Now, talking about making requests, 2 requests for the same payer is wrong. One payer ID, that's the second, the other lady, the 3rd question said, one payer ID should be used for any kind of transaction that a customer is coming to pay for under Lagos State. That was what I was trying to explain about land use. I am living in Ojo and I have 3 properties. That same payer ID is what you will use to post that land use transaction for all the 3 properties. Because if you are having 3 receipts, then all the 3 receipts will have their addresses on them. Do you understand me now? So you don't send a request. I can't come to your bank now with 3 land use bills for 3 landed property. Then you want to create a payer ID for each property. It is wrong. It is wrong. If the payer ID was not existing before and they create one for you, then you should use that one to post the free transactions because all the addresses would appear on the receipts. Then you said initially that the customer said he has made a payment before. Please, if he said he has made a payment before, probably there was no proper search. And since you didn't get it, it is good you contact the customer to give you a copy of his old receipts. Or if he has a taxpayer's card, then you will get his payer ID from there. Since he has made a transaction before, so there was no need for you to make a new request. So right now, what we are saying now is between you and I and all of us here, that payer ID, that customer has 2 PIDs already existing in our system, which is wrong. Please, if a payer has made a payment before, please contact the payer, tell them to give you their old receipt or their ETC card. Sorry, you were raising up your hand.
My name is Diane from Mojudu branch. Like concerning this payer ID, something happened. The customer came to pay. He said he paid last year. He didn't get his receipt. He paid, I think he paid in Access Bank. The link was down or something. So I searched for his ID. I found out that he paid in 2011, which was carrying his name and the same address. He paid in 2012, wasn't carrying his name, but the same address, but a different payer ID. So I chose to use the one that had his name and the address. In that situation, what is supposed to be done ordinarily?
He has 2 receipts.
He has 2 payer IDs.
2 payer IDs. Yes. One is carrying his name
and address.
And the address.
The other is carrying just the address.
And no name at all.
No name, just payer, property owner.
Just property owner. Okay, that's no issue. Such transaction can be requested for merger, but before we merge, we have to investigate if the other address is actually, if the other receipt is actually his. You understand? Because that's no name. So the customer himself needs to write, okay, that he wants both transactions to be merged together, to be one payer ID. So he should write to the bank requesting for a merger of both transactions, attaching the 2 receipts to it. Then the bank will now write on his behalf, attaching his own letter to the bank's letter to our office. And we'll work on that.
When was a different bank?
It doesn't matter which bank. It's not, the PID has nothing to do with the bank now. Okay? It's just that probably he was just quite fortunate to have posted in Access then. Even if you're in GT Bank, somebody made a transaction 2008 from other bank, you can still print that same receipt for that person, the 2008 receipt from your own bank. Do you understand? So it has nothing to do with the bank, is just an application thing, pointing to the same server. Now, I think we've been able to gather some good questions. Please, one guy is raising it up his hand. We'll ask more questions after this slide, please. But let's just answer the question. The last question now. Last question.
My name is Dan Larry from South. Yeah, I have just 2 questions. First one, in a situation whereby the customer wants to pay for direct assessment, he filled in 3 names, the middle name, the first name, and the surname. So I said the name exists, but I asked the customer of which address he wants. He said the one I saw in the system is not his own address. So what will I do? The second one is, whenever I want to post GT Bank's transaction, I can't post remotely. I'll need to use the temp card.
Sorry, I just asked yourselves. That second question, I just pointed to yourself. Okay, now, the first one, which says you search for a payer's name, and it was the same name format, but it said the address. The customer actually saw the address, right? The address wasn't there. The customer confirmed that it is not his own address. Now, this is the reason why we ask for information. I was in Kano sometimes 2009. And you can imagine how funny Muslim names can be. Malam. Do you know you can be 4 of you or 3 of you can be in the same compound having the same name format? Abubakar Ali Abubakar. Abubakar Ali Abubakar. Abubakar Ali Abubakar. Where do you live? I live at Mangoro Street, number 1. Mangoro Street, number 1. Mangoro Street, number 1. But there are some things that will actually make the difference. That's why we ask for these informations: email address, phone number, date of birth. They can never be born the same day. It is impossible for you to born triplet and name them the same name? Is it possible? No. So, phone number, email address, DBO, date of birth, will actually identify if they are different people. Okay? So with that, if we have all that information, please, that will help us streamline our search more to see it is the same person. But wait, again, yes, please, we know, let's always do our proper talks one-on-one to the customers. We know because the customers sometimes can be very funny. Probably the guy actually wants a different address on that receipt. That address might be really his, okay? But he wants a different address. So let him bring a proof of residential address. You know how you do it in the bank, probably water bill, anything that can identify his present residential address. If he says that that is not his own, Lagos, we know ourselves very well. Then the second one that says about if he's going to post GT Bank transaction, he can't use just a temp card. He has to use, he can't use just the bank card. He wants to use bank card and temp card to post, and is unable to do them. You will be able to post, you can't edit it. But you can post with it. Of course, you will post. You will post. You 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 branches have issued a temp card in the name of GT Bank. Temp cards are supposed to be temporary cards that should be emptied after being issued. Yes or no? Yes. But we have issued, and we have refused to empty the card. Some of us always want to do it, okay, this is GT Bank, so that if we want to do GT transaction, we'll be using it all the time. Just keep it inside our drawer. But temp cards are not supposed to be issued permanently to a bank. Please, if in your branch you are having such card, temp card, issued to GT Bank and not empty, that is the cause of the problem. You won't be able to empty because you are having unsynchronized dates due on that card. And if those cards are not synchronized, you cannot empty the bank card. And they will be reading against you. And the department watching e-banking, they know how to throw a gunshot at you. Nike knows what she feels when it comes to unsynchronized status. We are going there. Unsynchronized cards, they are very, 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 very important. You make sure all cards are synchronized. All cards are synchronized. That question goes back to you. You have unsynchronized cards. That's why you cannot empty your temp card. Sometimes if you bring your bank card to me to empty, I might not be able to empty it too, because it is going to be telling me that other cards have not been synchronized. That's why I can't empty. A card is not meant for Dr. Emu branch. It is only tagged Dr. Emu branch, but it is not Dr. Emu branch's card. It is whose card? GT Bank's card.
Tax payers to always come to the bank with their cards, just to avoid issues, you know.
All right. Yes, we've been doing that, and that's why we need the banks to help us. Now, you know, the banks are the one interfacing with these people directly. Okay? Yes, we do that. We have flyers. We have flyers that are going out every day. We have people who go out every day, and they go out with their flyers, they meet with customers. But the bank also is, I think, is a very good medium and a faster avenue to sensitize customers, because they are coming to you. With that process, you can even be their friends, interface with them, and you tell them, okay, like the scenario I gave, if you can successfully create a card for one customer, then knowing that you have created a card for thousands of people, because they will always come. They will always come. If they know they can get it from you. And once you are getting it, you always advise them. You know, we know what I understand. Some of us, after issuing receipts to the customers, we just let them go. We don't, for our own sake, we always tell them, please, when you are coming next time, come with your receipts. Okay? You advise them, when you are coming next time to pay, come with your receipts. so that it will reduce the stress you will go through searching. And honestly, if all negotiants come to the bank with their pay ID, I tell you, 30 seconds, the customer will walk in and go out. It's true. I said 30 seconds. I'm serious. Because already, your ePay is already open. You are not closing and opening it. Are you with me? Your ePay is already open. When you just put the payer ID, text the post and transfer form and say pay to bank. Good network. 1 minute max. 2 minutes max. In 2 minutes, calculate 2 minutes every day and the number of customers you can attend to. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. 2 minutes for 1 customer and calculate the number of hours you spend in the office and the number of people you attend to every 2 minutes. So even the banks too can help with that. Communicate with your customers when they come, advise them to come with their old receipt, help them get their ETC card if they don't have it. Thank you very much. I'll just monitor it for you. And whatever mail you're also sending in respect to your transaction or anything. Now, if that's to do with technical issues about ePay, forward the mail directly to me.
Errors on ePay for coming for this training. And going forward, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us at psballen@gtbank.com. Thank you and have a wonderful weekend.